Hello class. Our brief lecture today is on Chapter 5, selecting a topic and a purpose. We'll look at ways to select a topic, a general purpose, a specific purpose, and a central idea, how to write all of these. Well, step one, of course, in any speech is choosing the topic. Now, in particular, I'm talking about our informative and our persuasive speeches. Your informative topic will be your first topic. You want to choose something that is familiar. Perhaps you've experienced scuba diving, and because of your familiarity with it, you would be an expert to some extent on speaking on this subject. You may have some other subject that you are an expert on as well, or you've had experience with. You don't necessarily have to be an expert. Or you might pick a topic that you want to simply know more about. Something you're interested in, but you'd like to learn more about it. That would be a good topic to choose. You might just jot down some of your experiences, some of your interests, your hobbies perhaps, some skills that you might possess. All of these are potential informative topics. So, another way to come up with a topic is to divide a sheet into 9 columns and then make a heading at the top of the columns. People, places, things, events, processes, concepts, natural phenomena, problems, or policies. People, Hillary Clinton. Places, the moon. Things, iPads. Events, Mardi Gras. Processes, how to write a resume. Concepts, existentialism. Natural phenomena could be how tornadoes develop. Problems, the national debt. Policies, offshore drilling, just to give you an example. But write these columns or these titles out across 9 columns and then write the first 3 or 4 things that come to mind. Likely you'll come up with a topic that you want to know more about and can do some research on. Go to Connect Lucas website, which you have purchased. Click on the Library tab and then scroll down and click Topic Finder. If you click on the letter A, and all of the letters of the alphabet are there, a list of 50 topics that start with the letter A will come up, and certainly you'll be able to find a topic in the Topic Finder on Connect Lucas. Let's take a look at the general purpose now. We are going to inform or persuade. In our first speech, it is to inform. So the general purpose is simply to inform. Now, let's move on to the specific purpose. And let me add, too, before I move on to the specific purpose, that when you are informing, you're simply a teacher. You are giving out information. You are not asking us to do anything. You are not persuading us to take some action. Very important that you remember that. In the persuasive speech, you become an advocate for a certain position, and you want to influence us to take some action that you have predetermined. Now let's go to the specific purpose. The specific purpose is a single infinitive phrase, and it states what the speaker hopes to accomplish in the speech. Let me give you an example. The purpose of my speech is to inform my audience about 3 types of equipment used in scuba diving. As you can see, we have a very specific purpose. We're going to talk about equipment. The speech could be about the dangers of scuba diving. It could be about the best places to scuba dive. So you can see you can break up that broad topic of scuba diving into many different speeches. That's an example of a specific purpose, and you will be required to write it just like this. You will have to write, the purpose of my speech is to inform my audience about, and then whatever your speech is about. But that phrase there must appear in your formal outline that you will present to me before you speak. Now, let's give you a few tips about creating your specific purpose so it is done well. It must be a complete sentence with an infinitive phrase. Remember, the purpose of my speech is to inform my audience to, and then you will tell them something of whatever your speech is, the content of your main points. No questions. What is Mardi Gras? No, that is not a specific purpose. 3 different elements of Mardi Gras, 3 different features of Mardi Gras. Those things would be good speeches. No figurative language. The parking at MTSU stinks. Can't use that. It's better. The purpose of my speech is to inform my audience about ways to solve the problem of parking at MTSU. And you need to have only one idea in the specific purpose. The purpose of my speech is to inform my audience about ways to donate blood and how to participate in the Walk for Cancer. That's 2 topics. You need to break those topics up. And it shouldn't be too vague. The purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience that something should be done about amusement park safety. Too vague. The purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience that state, local governments should take action to safeguard the amusement rides in our parks. Now, let's look at some guidelines about specific purposes. Can I accomplish this purpose in 5 to 8 minutes? Your speeches will be a minimum of 5, a maximum of 8 minutes. You're informative and you're persuasive. Is this too trivial? We don't want to hear a speech about how to make a campfire. We want something very interesting, something that this audience will be interested in hearing. Is my speech too technical? You can't talk about the principles of nuclear physics in 5 to 8 minutes. Too much jargon, we're non-technical, we wouldn't understand, and we would get lost. So those are guidelines for the specific purpose. So the general purpose, to inform. The specific purpose is an infinitive phrase that states exactly what you hope to accomplish. Now let's move to the central idea, sometimes called the main idea, sometimes called the thesis statement of your speech. It is really just one sentence that encapsulates the major ideas of your speech, namely the main points. If you're talking about the 3 dangers of scuba diving, the first point would be the first danger, then the second point, the second, and the third point, the third danger of scuba diving. The residual message, very important, this is what you want the audience to remember after they've forgotten all of your stories and supporting details. You want them to remember this. The central idea is often called the residual message that you want the audience to keep or to trap in their minds. Here's an example of a good central idea. 3 types of human trafficking are forced labor, domestic servitude, and sexual exploitation. One student did a very excellent speech on that topic. And that's a good central idea that encapsulates, you see, it encapsulates the main points of her speech. Now, in looking at the central idea, let's talk about a few guidelines. Very similar to the specific purpose. It must be a complete sentence. It must be a statement, not a question. No figurative language, just like the specific purpose. It encapsulates, however, this time, the main points. It spells out the main points. The specific purpose would say, today I'm going to the purpose of my speech is to inform my audience about the 3 types of equipment used in scuba diving. Well, types is that plural noun. That's a bag word. It's a bag that holds the main points. Each of the main points will be a type. In the central idea, you open up the bag and you pull out each of the types and you reveal them and state them specifically in the central idea. So the central idea encapsulates the main points. It states them clearly. The specific purpose does not. It has a bag word that holds the main points. Make sure that your central idea can fit the time limit. Is this speech relevant to this audience? Is this something they're going to be interested in? Good question. You'll get more response from the audience, a more favorable hearing, if it's something they are interested in. And is it appropriate for a non-technical audience? Not too much jargon, we won't understand you. So class, this is how you do a general purpose, a specific purpose, a central idea, and choose a topic. These are the first things you do as you begin to prepare for your informative speech.